Out of all the huge mysteries, there is one which haunts racing game fans to this day. Where will Forza Horizon 6 be set? Yeah, well that's what I'll be going through in today's video. So 4,000 likes is the target, so wet it up. And also let me know what you think the next game will be set in the comments down below. Thank you very much, and without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, now before we get into the places that I think it will be set, let's go over some places that I don't think it will be set in. First of all, the USA. Now don't get me wrong, the USA is a fantastic location. I mean, just imagine a Forza Horizon game set in the Pacific coast with like Monterey and California and San Francisco. Oh my days, that would be amazing, but I don't think it will be set there because we've already had a game set in the USA with of course Forza Horizon 1, which is set in Colorado. So yeah, I don't see them reusing a country that they used already, even though it would be really good. And secondly is Germany, because it doesn't really suit a Horizon game, and of course we do have another game set in Europe, another 2 games set in Europe. And if you want to see another Horizon game set in Europe, then I don't think that Germany would be the best location. I feel like maybe Spain or Scandinavia would be so much better. Also, I don't think Horizon 6 will be set in Czech Republic, Brazil, or the United Arab Emirates, because those 3 locations were used in Forza Motorsport games to showcase their new city, and like, you know, their standout track was set in those countries. So I don't think it will be set there, because I have this weird theory that those standout locations, the developers tried to set the Horizon games there, but they decided against it. And lastly, I don't think it will be set in Tenerife, Ibiza, or any small islands like that, because Forza Horizon games always mash different areas together and make a map. For example, we saw Edinburgh and Ambleside really close together in Forza Horizon 4, so I don't think they could do that with a small island. Anyways, now let's go over some possible locations for Forza Horizon 6. Okay, now you might be thinking, hang on a second, New Zealand? Surely that's going to be the exact same as Australia, but no, because New Zealand is actually so different. Okay, yes, cities like Auckland are very similar to Australian ones like Melbourne or Sydney, but the landscape is so much different, because in Australia, well, Australia is famous for the outback, but where you get the outback in Australia, in New Zealand you get mountains and cliff edges and water, and oh my days, it's amazing. You also get some pretty cool beaches. For example, this Windows wallpaper is actually a picture taken in New Zealand, and just imagine driving your car there. That would be amazing. It would be pretty similar to the Horizon 3 trailer, but it would be amazing. Anyways, going back to mountains correlates to amazing driving roads, and New Zealand is no exception, because the driving roads here are beautiful. I love it very much. I mean, just look at the views. You can see the sea and you can see the mountains. Oh my days, I want to drive my car through here. But it's not just the landscape that's amazing, because New Zealand is pretty car culture-y as well. That's not a word, but yeah, they have a great car scene with mixes of like Aussie cars and JDM stuff. Honestly, I remember watching a Mighty Car Mods video years ago where they spoke about how the car culture in New Zealand is unlike anything else. And seeing as we have 2 games set in North America and 2 games set in Europe, I feel like we could have 2 games set in Australasia or Oceania, whatever this, you know. They could redo continents, that's what I'm trying to say, and I feel like New Zealand would be a really good fit for Forza Horizon 6. Okay, now this is one of my predictions for my Forza Horizon 5 location video, and I still stand by it, because Singapore would be an incredible location for Forza Horizon 6, as this country is full of incredible modern architecture, stunning views, nice roads, and come on, what car guy would not want to drive their car through here? I mean, just look at it, it looks so good! Honestly, I said this time and time again, but Singapore is very similar to Dubai, but it's more tropical and humid. Okay, now there is one downside with Singapore which makes me think that the next game will not be set here, but it's the fact that the whole country is basically just a massive city. But Playground games, they love to add nature and wildlife elements, as you can see in Forza Horizon 5 and 4 and 3. So I feel like how urban this game is would deter the developers from setting the game there, because it's just way too city-y. That's not a word. And also, Singapore is a bit of an island. I mean, it is connected to Malaysia, I believe. Yeah, it's connected via a bridge, so it is technically a small island, so that also makes me think that the next game will not be set here. But to this day, I stand by the fact that Singapore will be an incredible location for a Forza Horizon game. It will be amazing. Okay, now a very underrated country suggestion for Forza Horizon 6 is, in my opinion, Argentina. Okay, now lots of us think it's all about football there and they hate Top Gear and everything, but honestly the country is actually so beautiful. I mean, the country is full of stunning views, vast landscape, waterfalls, wildlife, and incredible cities. Okay, granted the cities are not very modern, which I want a modern city, but it is a very atmospheric city, unlike Guanajuato. So yeah, I feel like Argentina would make for an incredible location for the next Horizon game. And okay, now sure there is no famous car scene in Argentina, but honestly nowadays Forza Horizon games don't really care about car culture these days. They just care about like wildlife and the views and trying to make the game look pretty so people can buy it and be like, wow, Forza Horizon, very pretty game. So yeah, the fact that car culture is basically non-existent in Argentina doesn't matter whatsoever, as I think it will make for an incredible location for Forza Horizon 6. I've been thinking about it, it would be pretty similar to Horizon 5, but without the sand, which I'm all for. Okay, now I also mentioned South Africa as a possible location for Forza Horizon 5 in this old video as well, but I dismissed it as I thought it would be way too similar to Forza Horizon 3, but thinking about it, is that bad? I mean, South Africa has a city with forests, mud tracks, hot weather, rainforest, waterfalls, wildlife, and amazing driving modes, which is basically everything that we saw in Horizon 3, so what's so bad about having it again? I mean, with how far the technology has improved, it would be basically Horizon 3 but bigger and better. And if you played Horizon 3, then you would know that everybody loved the Australia map. I don't think anybody had anything bad to say about Australia in Horizon 3, like, it was so well done. You know, they had the city, they had the outback, they had the rainforest, they had the, like, villages, not villages, like the small towns, and they had an amazing atmosphere, and it was beautiful, so it would be so cool if they could expand on that and set the game in South Africa. Oh, and also another plus side about South Africa is they drive on the correct side of the road. So yeah, I would like to drive on the left side of the road because that's very nice and it's the right way to do it. I mean, it's not the right, it's the left, but it's right, it's the correct, left is correct. You know what I mean? I want to drive on the left, and yeah man, South Africa would make for an incredible location. But honestly, South Africa is not on the top of my list for places that I want the next game to be set, because if you know me, then you know that I would love for the next game to be set in Japan. I feel like everybody deep down wants Horizon 6 to be set in Japan, and I don't blame them because I think it will be the perfect location. Okay, now I know some people are going to say, oh, Japan overrated, you only like it because of anime and you are a initial D, but I strongly disagree because I don't watch animes. I'm not a huge fan of JDM cars. I want it to be set in Japan because Japan would do everything so well for a Horizon game and there are no downsides whatsoever. I mean, Japan has incredible car culture, amazing driving roads, beautiful views, picturesque landscape, and a vibrant modern city, which I really want in the next game because the last time we got a modern city was Surfers Paradise and I love that city. So yeah, I think it's about time that we got another modern city because I need some Tokyo, man. I need some Okinawa, man. I want a Japanese city, that's what I'm trying to say, yeah, because Japanese cities, they're colorful, they're beautiful, they're nice, they got nice LEDs, they're beautiful, they're nice. And honestly, Japan's been requested ever since Forza Horizon 3, so it feels really weird that they're holding it back. It's almost as if they're waiting for the right time to make that game. Because if the next game is to be set in Japan, then everybody's gonna be celebrating, like, yay! And then they're gonna be like, what now? So yep, I feel like the fact that we haven't seen a Horizon game set in Japan is sort of keeping the hype for Forza Horizon games. Because when you hear rumors about the next game, everybody's first question is it going to be set in Japan? So yeah, I feel like if we were to see Japan, then it's going to be the very last Forza Horizon game, which is pretty sad. Okay, now I feel very confident that the next game will be set in China because we've been seeing so many Chinese stuff in Forza Horizon 5. Okay, now I know a bunch of you are probably saying the reason that we're seeing all this Chinese stuff is because of the Lunar New Year. But I've never seen the Lunar New Year celebrated in Forza like it's being celebrated in Horizon 5. It's like they're building up to something, like there's so many Chinese stuff in Horizon 5. And of course there are so many new to Forza Chinese cars added into the game as well, like a whole bunch of them. Okay, now I know some of you may be disappointed if the next game is set in China, but honestly I feel like China would be an incredible location. I mean, in China there is a huge modern city with a beautiful landscape, great driving roads, historical landmarks. Honestly, it takes all the bells and whistles for the next Horizon game. Honestly, like, China would be a pretty good location. So yep, I honestly would not mind whatsoever if the next game is set in China. Though I really hope Playground Games executes the map properly and they don't set the whole game in rural China because that would be a big mistake.